Hello, my friends. I'm unaware how many of you are here as of yet, but welcome back to another stream. And yeah, Proper Barclays occurred once again today. Hopefully the stream is okay in terms of quality. Let me know if it is. One sec, I'm just gonna briefly check and see if the quality is okay. We're all good. We're all good. We're all good. Wagwan brothers, welcome to the stream. I don't know if you're still here because you might have just put that ages ago for all I know, but yeah. Proper Barclays occurring today. Some absolutely top-notch action in the Premier League. And apologies that the stream is starting a little bit late because essentially I was trying to just sort everything out with the details of the stream, whatever. So yeah, we will now change over. Oh, look at that transition. And yeah, first of all, obviously the results from today. Let's have a look at the FPL because I think I've had a little bit of a stinker today, I can't lie. I think I've had a little bit of a stinker. Yeah, that's how we're looking. Literally, Rashford fucking carried me this week. And I haven't captained because of the double game week. Obviously, United have 2 games in this game week, so I decided I'll put Rashford as my captain. Do you remember me? I was the guy who asked, is Haaland joining Man City a few months ago, and turns out he joined City. Or Chelsea. I feel like I do for some reason. I don't know why. But I feel like I do. That's a really random memory that I may have. But yeah. Is the hope the graphic is working now on the screen, is it? It probably will at some point. But yeah, get involved in the chat, lads. I'm going to get into talking about obviously all the matches that occurred, the teams in general, but I just said real quick, I just give you a look at the FPL. How is your FPL going, lads? Leave it in the chat, because mine's been a bit of a stinker recently, I can't lie. I had an absolute howler and I put in Mikhailo Mudryk, who just happened to have an invisible game. I will cut him some slack because apparently he was ill, but yeah, not looking good in that sense. And I don't know why. I was in work on Friday evening or morning, sorry, and I was like, you know what? I'll take a punt on him. Why not? I'm so excited, you know, with the fact we had Mudryk, Enzo Fernandez, Badiashile, Madueke coming off the bench, all these new signings, and I was like, surely we're hammering Fulham, and surely Mudryk is going to be heavily involved. So I was like, fuck it, I'll put him in my team, and look how that worked out. And the worst part was that Massey Gamer, welcome to the stream, my friend. Long time no see, loyal subscriber. I've known him from ages. How you doing? I'm doing good, my friend. How are you doing? Let me know. But yeah, as I was saying, I was just so excited. I was like, we're gonna hammer Fulham surely. So I was like, and Mudryk will probably be involved. I feel like he might get a goal or an assist, but no. 45 minutes of football, got about 3 touches of the ball. And the worst part is, it was between him and Maddison. And then obviously Maddison goes and scores for Leicester against Aston Villa today. I think Mudryk is injured. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. But yeah, Rashford. If it wasn't for Rashford being my captain, I would have had an absolute howler of a weekend. Obviously I've got Rico Lewis, Haaland and Kane all playing tomorrow. Not really any hope on my bench either, to be fair. For the next game week, I'm taking Mudryk out because I just feel like when I put Chelsea players on my team, they're not going to do well. I don't know why. But I'm going to take Mudryk out. I'm going to put in probably James Maddison. And I'm going to take out Robertson. I'm going to put in Reece James. Thanks, Massey Gamer. Legend. Appreciate it. You've been around for ages. Always in the streams as well. What a guy. But yeah, that's just a quick update with the FPL and how dodgy it's been so far for me. That's about it, really, to be fair. Now we'll get into... What the fuck am I after going into? Oh yeah, fixtures. My bad. Just gonna fix that chat bar there because it seems a little bit... That should do. That should do. Yeah. Put Madueke in. I might, but I'm going to leave Chelsea players out until I know for a fact that they're going to be capable of delivering me points, because every time I put Chelsea players in my team, they just don't do well. So yeah, those of course were today's results. We'll sneak in Chelsea there as well. Chelsea's game from last night. So yeah, what a day of what a day of proper Barclays. There was some proper Barclays games. I mean, the ones I watched, obviously, I watched the Chelsea match. I did a video on that if you guys haven't seen it already. I did a video on Everton and Arsenal, analysed that game. Really interesting game, to be fair. Sean Dyche, 4-4 back in 2, breaks the ball back at the wheel. I would put Matoma for Mudryk. Matoma's a shout. I actually might put Matoma in there. Might even put him in over Leon Bailey if I have the money on my bench, just in case. But yeah, anyway. And I watched Newcastle against West Ham. Pretty alright game, to be fair. But yeah, in terms of Everton's performance against Arsenal to start with, just briefly, I won't go on for too long because I've done a whole video on Everton and Arsenal if you want to go and check that out after the stream. But yeah, Everton were absolutely brilliant, to be fair. I thought Amadou Onana, as the title suggests for that video, was an absolute joke. I thought their energy was brilliant, tenacity, and the atmosphere just... This is what I mean about Arsenal. This is why I don't think Arsenal will win the league this season, because there's games like this that they're going to have. Look, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't panic if I was an Arsenal fan whatsoever. I wouldn't panic, because it's their second defeat of the season. The fourth time I think they've dropped points all season, which I think people need to remember. But it's games like this, if you think about it, this is the way I compare it, and maybe I shouldn't, maybe it's unfair for me to compare it this way, but I compare it like this. Would City have beaten Everton today? I think they would. I think they would have. Just because I think City not only have that bit more quality, but they have that scare factor about them that maybe Arsenal don't quite have yet. I don't know. I think it's probably unfair of me to say that, though, isn't it? That they don't have the scare factor. Is that a bit unfair of me to say? But essentially what I'm trying to say is I don't think Arsenal will win the Premier League, just because I don't think they'll have the experience, basically, in the squad and the know-how to navigate through these games that are going to be tough. And don't get me wrong, I don't think they're going to have many tougher games than Everton this season away from home, with Sean Dyche's first game in charge, new manager bounce with the fans behind him. But yeah, no, it'll be an interesting title race, that's for sure, second half of the season. I mean, we're so early in still. I mean, it's not going to take shape really till late March, early April, really, is it? Out of water, lovely. But yeah, Wolves beating Liverpool was a shocker, yeah, honestly, yeah. I was so surprised about that. I mean, we'll get onto that one now. I mean, Wolves, I didn't watch it, haven't even watched the highlights yet, but Liverpool are in trouble. Liverpool are in crisis mode. Chat, let me know as well. This is an interesting question to put to you, right? How long does Jurgen Klopp get at Liverpool? How long does he get? Because that's not the first time they've been trampled. That's not the first time they've been trampled, you know. And yeah, 3-0 away to Wolves. You remember, just I think less than 3 weeks ago, they lost 3-0 to Brighton. Liverpool are in trouble. I think the main issue, once again, I did a video on Liverpool when they lost to Brighton, I think 3-0 a few weeks ago. They lost to Brighton in the FA Cup as well, I forgot about that shit. But if you want to go and check that out as well, I'm just giving you a list of videos to watch afterwards. I've done a video on Liverpool as well, talking about what I think their issues are. And look, for me, their main issue lies in midfield. I think their midfield is too unbalanced. It's too susceptible defensively. I think Fabinho's not been at it this season. I think Jordan Henderson's legs are gone. He's horrendous now in my opinion. James Milner obviously way past it now. Harvey Elliott, don't really see what he offers. Thiago, unbelievable footballer, but is he vulnerable without having the right cover next to him? Naby Keita hasn't hit the ground running at all for Liverpool ever. Oxlade-Chamberlain, is he up to the task? I think I'm so surprised. I said this in multiple videos. I'm so surprised that Liverpool didn't go for Moises Caicedo. I think he would have been perfect for them. I think he would have actually plugged a lot of holes in that Liverpool team. And Massey Gamer says it there. In my opinion, it's not Klopp need a better midfield. And that's essentially what I've just said there. Great minds think alike, eh? But, no, yeah. And see, the thing is, Liverpool as well, is the midfield wouldn't be too much of an issue if they didn't play that ridiculously high line they play. And obviously, look, Van Dijk isn't the fastest nowadays or the most mobile nowadays, but you can see how much they miss him when he's out. Just need to fix this webcam, by the way. It looks fairly lopsided. Is that this way? Ah, yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Sorry, just have to do that real quick. But yeah, no, like I said, Liverpool are in trouble. Keita not good enough, says Massey Gamer. The fact Matip scored an own goal though, yeah. And see, the only hope Liverpool have in that high line is the fact they have Konate, and he's like their only quick defender. Daniel Knight 14, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream, my brother. Loyal subscriber once again. I think Liverpool need a rebuild like Chelsea. Maybe they do. Not a bad shout. I mean, if you look at their attack as well, even Salah's been horrendous this season. He's been completely off the ball. Darwin Núñez, I think, needs a bit of time to embed himself into the Liverpool team. Gakpo obviously hasn't lit anything up yet, to be honest. Luis Diaz is injured, so he's a big miss. Jota maybe the same. Firmino's not quite the same player he was, even though he showed a bit of bright spark early on in the season. But yeah, as I said, this Liverpool high line, and that's mainly the reason why Trent Alexander-Arnold's getting dug out so much as well, because he doesn't really have that much protection. The reason he was so world class for Liverpool over the last few years is because at that time they had a competent midfield with Fabinho, who was in his prime, Henderson, who was doing a job, Wijnaldum, you remember Wijnaldum? Was Wijnaldum the glue in this Liverpool team? But yeah, I'm so surprised they didn't go for Caicedo. I mean, it was probably just the money factor, but I think he would have been so perfect for them. In terms of the fact he's brilliant on the ball, but he gets around, he has an unbelievable engine, his defensive work is top quality. If Chelsea win the next match, they'll go to 6th, I think. Big if, though. Big if, my friend. Who are we playing? West Ham away. That's a bogey ground for us, you know. The only thing is, we have Sergio Felix, the fourth back, the king, the Don, so he could dig us out. But yeah, we'll move on. Manchester United 2, Crystal Palace 1. I kind of half watched the first half, and then I watched the second half, because for the first half I was trying to get the Everton Arsenal video out. But yeah, United on a brilliant run of form. I think I heard from the commentators it's their 13th win in a row at Old Trafford. Sensational scenes if that's the case, like. But then they were scared late on, you know, and Casemiro suspended for 3 matches now. I can't lie, by the rule book it probably is a red card, but I think it's so harsh. I don't think he meant any malice in what he was doing to Will Hughes. I can't lie. Just my opinion. But yeah, they were so in control of the game. Rashford obviously unstoppable at this moment in time. Who got the first goal? Or the penalty from Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, it was a penalty in fairness. Good penalty from Fernandes. Yeah, United in control. Second goal was a good team move. Luke Shaw puts into Rashford. Good finish. He's on fire at the moment. Rashford. I don't think anyone can stop him right now. And then Casemiro goes and gets red carded. A stupid outburst from all the United players, especially Anthony, who just bit at Schlupp. He bit. And you can see as soon as he bit, as soon as Schlupp did that, United player, all in his face, and obviously that's what led to the Casemiro sending off. And yeah, gone for 3 matches now. At least he's, for their perspective, he's available for the Carabao Cup final against Newcastle in a few weeks' time. But even still, he's going to be a massive miss in this next 3 games. Against Leeds, I'm fairly sure one's against Leicester, and I think they play Leeds again, I want to say, at Elland Road. So it'll be a tough game. Tough 3 games, sorry. But yeah, Crystal Palace got back into the game. Schlupp with a really inventive finish. Probably should have equalised, to be fair. They had a good few chances. They dominated the last 15 minutes to the point where Ten Hag had to bring on not one, but 2 centre-halves in Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof. Garnacho getting hooked after coming on, 20 minutes, half an hour before. So, obviously I don't think he'll make anything of it because it was pretty obvious to see for everyone involved that it was a tactical change. But yeah. Right, we'll go through a few comments. Wagwan Brothers says, Man City will snatch it, I think, once again. Agree, in my opinion. Where else are we? Mount and Havertz need to be dropped, says Daniel Knight. Agree again. I think Havertz should be given a run in the team. Now, don't get me wrong, Havertz has been poor. But I think Havertz can click with the likes of Felix, Mudryk, Madueke, Fernandes. I think that he could click in this team. And he's a player, I think, if he gets quality players around him, could do very well. Mount, on the other hand, I love Mount. I absolutely love Mount, but he's been horrendous this season. And I think he just needs a little bit of time on the bench to take himself out of the limelight a bit. Nkunku joining in the summer, yeah, I know, just Nkunku just getting dabbled on the fire. Do you know the meme of the fire or on the pasta going fire and just chucking in a bit more and just watch it explode? That's exactly what Nkunku is going to be like coming into this Chelsea team, and Malo Gusto as well, who's going to be a brilliant competition for Reece James at right back. Do you watch Formula 1? Unfortunately, my friend, I don't. Literally, football is the only sport I actually pay attention to. I pay a little bit of attention to UFC and boxing, but very little. But yeah, we'll move on. Who do we talk about next? Sure, we'll go with Brighton and Bournemouth. 1-0 Brighton. Another victory for Brighton. Where are they in the table at the moment? Actually, I want to check this. Where Brighton are. If we can get up the table there. Do you know what? I'll duplicate that. Duplication glitch, and we will go onto the table. Because I'm intrigued to see where Brighton are after this victory. Late win, Mitoma getting the winner again. I think he's been involved in goals in the last 4 or 5 games for Brighton in the league, which is insane considering how much he cost them. What was it, 2.5 million or something? Something ridiculous like that. This is inevitably taking a long time to load, so Chelsea need a world-class goalkeeper next season to really challenge for the Premier League. I agree. I think Kepa's been decent. I just don't think he's going to be... Actually, I think Kepa's been good, to be fair, but I just don't think he's at the level that we need to really mount a title challenge. So, obviously, we've been linked with David Raya from Brentford. We've been linked with Robert Sanchez. We've been linked with Emi Martinez. Mike Magnon, I've seen us linked to it. Daniel Knight says, if bad results keep coming, do you think Potter will get sacked? It's an interesting one because I think, as far as I'm aware, the board are fully behind him. But as to how long that will last, who knows? I mean, we're not going to get top 4. I think it's fair to say at this stage. I don't think we're going to get top 4. But it really depends on how well we play between now and the end of the season. I think the rest of the season is purely based on performances, unless we just do horrendously and come 14th or 15th somehow. In that case, I think he might be sacked. But I think at the very least, I think he needs till the end of the season, because I think it's ludicrous to think that he can get these guys playing champagne football within 2 weeks of them knowing each other. A lot of these guys. Even still, you forget the likes of Cucurella, Fofana, Koulibaly, Sterling, Zakaria, Aubameyang, all these players. They're only new as well. They're only, 6 months into their Chelsea careers as well. So I think it's really unfair to judge them already, or Potter already, on what he's doing with this team. Then again, in saying that, he does have quality. There's no doubt he does have a quality team now. There's still a few average players in that team, though. If you want to watch my video that I did on Chelsea and Fulham yesterday, Conor Gallagher, just horrendous on the ball. Mount was very poor. Cucurella was very poor. But yeah, we will take you back over as we have a look at the Premier League table. So yeah, Brighton are within 2 points of Spurs with a game in hand. Ooh. I hope we finish 10th this season because I don't want Chelsea in the Europa League. Doesn't really matter to me, to be fair. I'd actually rather not be in Europe next season, to be honest. I agree with your point. Only thing is, we'll have probably such a mad squad next year that we could just roll out Lewis Hall and Omari Hutchinson and Andre Santos and all the young fellas against farmers from Estonia and all those teams. But yeah, Brighton within, how much? 6 points of top 4 with a game in hand. Wow. Lads, do Brighton get top 4? Imagine the scenes if Brighton and Hove Albion. You know what? Fair play Brighton. They're an absolutely magnificently run club. Like, it's actually a joke how well ran they are. They are run unbelievably, Brighton. You know that? The fact that they bought Cucurella for, 15 million? I did a video on Brighton as well. I know I'm constantly plugging videos, but I did do a video on Brighton a few weeks ago praising them and did a full in-depth video on their recruitment and how well of a club they are ran and their style of play with De Zerbi and whatever. But all I say is the fact they bought Cucurella for 15 million, sold him for 60, I think it was 15, sold him for 60, I know they bought him for 60, trust me, I know. Or we bought him for 60, sorry. Caicedo signed for pennies. United turned down the chance to sign him for 5 million. He's now worth 70 or 80. That's probably what they're going to get from him, if not a bit more. Bissouma signed for 10, sold for 25, which even still they sold him for pennies considering how much he was worth at the time. Mitoma, £2.5 million, now worth 40 or 50 if a team was to try and buy him. No doubt will be playing for a bigger club in the next 2 or 3 years, I think it's fair to say, if he keeps going the way he's going. No disrespect Brighton, but that's just unfortunately the way the food chain is in the Premier League and in football. They're just unbelievably well ran. And they've got the best striker in the world in Evan Ferguson. They've got the best striker in the world of football, no doubt. But yeah. 8 people in the stream, lads. Let me know who you are in the chat. Do let me know. I'm interested to see. I'm always interested to see who's watching. And get involved in the discussion. We have a good discussion. We have a bit of debate in this stream. Or in the streams in general. But yeah, Brighton, man. They're soaring. The football they're playing under De Zerbi as well deserves credit. And they've showed today they can win scrappy against Bournemouth, who are just going to put 11 men behind the ball realistically because they don't have enough quality to actually go at teams, which is no disrespect, it's just unfortunately the way it is. They're nowhere near good enough in this division. They've made a few decent signings in January, but they're not going to survive unless they get an absolute miracle, in my opinion. And unfortunately, heartbreak for them, they lose 1-0 against Brighton, who kept plugging away. Didn't watch the game, haven't seen the highlights, but just based on the scoreline and based on the minute they scored in. And yeah, they're, for a team that are so good attacking wise, they're so good defensively as well. They've really mastered both sides under De Zerbi. And don't get me wrong, I think Graham Potter deserves credit for the foundations of that. I still maintain that, but De Zerbi has taken them to another level, I think it's fair to say. And they're really, really, really doing well, Brighton. And they've really clicked. And yeah, they're just... You'd want to be a Brighton fan right now, wouldn't you? You really would. I mean, they're high and flying. They're probably going to break their record from last season of highest ever Premier League finish. They might finish inside the top 6 if they keep going. I mean, they're one of the best teams in the league at this moment in time, most informed teams, and they're one of those teams that you do not want to play against right now, which is the best compliment I could give them, really. Yeah, I can see it only going onwards and upwards for Brighton, really, to be fair. I think they'll probably finish around 8th or ninth, but even still, it'll be a very good season for them. Who would play with midfield with Enzo next season? I want, like I'm just mentioning, I want Caicedo, Lavia, someone of that ilk, someone who can be a ball winner, but also is competent on the ball himself and can do a bit of the dirty work, so Enzo has a bit more freedom. I think Enzo would really, really do well next to someone like Caicedo or Lavia. And I think we're going to probably go for Caicedo. I imagine we get him now. I really reckon we get Caicedo now. Unless, I think the only way we don't get Caicedo now is if we don't want him and we prefer someone like Lavia. Because I think it's clear as day, Arsenal obviously signed Jorginho. If they don't get Caicedo, I think they'd go for Declan Rice beforehand based on what I've heard. City don't need a holding midfielder. United don't need a holding midfielder. Spurs wouldn't pay that money for him. Liverpool, maybe Liverpool, but I think their priority is Jude Bellingham. So I think Caicedo to Chelsea is an obvious one in the summer, so I reckon it will be Caicedo and Enzo next season, which would be an absolutely brilliant pivot, to be fair. Press resistant. But yeah, losing my voice. But we move. We move indeed into the next game. We're going to talk about Newcastle West Ham 1-1. I watched this game. Bit of a meh game, to be fair. Newcastle showing once again that they do have frailties in terms of breaking teams down, because it's their 4th draw in the last 5 games, I do believe. Yeah, they just struggled to break down West Ham. I think West Ham defended really well. Naif Aguerd, who got man of the match, thought was brilliant. Scored 2 goals inside the first 3 minutes and only one of them was allowed. I mean, the fact that Willock's goal got disallowed, scored after 30 seconds, and then Wilson goes and scores instantly inside 3 minutes. Just lackadaisical defending from West Ham early on. They didn't come out of the changing rooms till like 5 minutes in apparently, and Paqueta obviously getting the equaliser. And a well-earned draw for West Ham, who are looking like they may have turned a corner because they were so poor for a long time, and getting that win over Everton, getting Lampard sacked, and then a good point away from home against St James's Park, which this season has proven to be a really, really difficult place to go. I don't think West Ham will be anywhere near relegation towards the end of the season. We'll look at where they are in the table now. If you look at that, they're only 1 point above the relegation zone in fairness. They do play us next though, so Charity FC probably going to give them a win. I think West Ham will be safe. I think they're more likely to rise in the table than fall. I just think they've got too much talent in that team to go down, considering the teams around them. Question for you in the chat, lads: who goes down? Who's getting relegated? Let me know. Interested to see your thoughts on who is getting relegated this season. There's the bottom half of the table for you. Actually, is there? Where does it show all the points are there? Can't see them on screen. I shall move it so that you can. Okay, that wasn't meant to happen. 1 sec, lads. There you go. You can see that now. We'll just give that a nudge. There we go. All sorted. So yeah, lads, who is going down? Who's getting relegated? Who will be playing their football amongst the Championship sides next season? The Championship fodder. Who is going down? Let me know. 3 of those teams on your screen. Liverpool maybe. Liverpool getting sucked into it maybe. Liverpool getting relegated. Imagine. They're only 11 points above it, but obviously they're not going to go down. But yeah, it'll be an interesting scrap, to be fair. But I think West Ham will be safe. As I said, I think even though they've been on poor form, they're having a very poor season. I think they'll have enough to survive in terms of the quality they have, and yeah, I just can't see West Ham going down. But yeah, overall, Newcastle struggling without Bruno Guimaraes maybe. To be honest, if they win the Carabao Cup, it'll be a successful season for them because they'll already be in the Europa League then. Obviously, they would like Champions League football, but I don't think any Newcastle fans will be saying it's a disgrace if they don't get it. I mean, they're massively overachieving anyway this season. If you think about it, right, Eddie Howe has got Newcastle 4th in the Premier League, right? 4th in the Premier League. With a midfield including Sean Longstaff, Joe Willock, Joe Linton, Miguel Almiron on the right, Dan Burn at left back. I mean, like, he's doing an insane job. And considering the fact in most games they bring on like Jacob Murphy, Chris Wood was coming on for a while before he went to Nottingham Forest, Ryan Fraser. I think Eddie Howe's doing an exceptional job there. And if you look at the top 4 race again, wow. I mean, Newcastle are comfortably enough in the inside the top 4. 4 points above Spurs with the same amount of games played. They're on poor form at the moment as well, considering they've drawn 4 of the last 5 games, so they have stagnated a little bit and fallen off, because I think it's an occasion of them, or an example of them struggling to break teams down. And look, I don't think they will get top 4. I've said it for weeks now, because I think they will freeze, and I don't think they'll be able to keep up that momentum the whole season. But you just never know. Dare to dream, Newcastle fans, because you're having one hell of a season. And it's only going to get better, really, isn't it, for Newcastle? It's only going to get better. It's not too long before they're challenging for Premier League titles. I can't lie. Whether it's with Eddie Howe or not remains to be seen, but exciting time for Newcastle. And they're playing some brilliant football this season. But yeah. Southampton, Bournemouth, Leeds go down, I think, says Daniel Knight. And I'm not going to say what I think, because I am actually planning on doing a video of my mid-season Premier League predictions, so stay tuned on the channel for that, because I'm going to be releasing that. I'm going to be recording it anyway soon. The reason why I'm actually not doing a video tonight is because my SD card's broken, so I've ordered another one off Amazon. It's coming on Monday morning, hopefully. So until then, it's just streams. So I'll probably stream tomorrow as well at some point. But yeah, it's good streams, you know. I'm just getting involved with the chat, getting involved with the subscribers, etc. And I'm sure you like getting involved in them as well, because it probably makes you feel like you're more involved on the channel. But yeah, get involved in the chat, like I said, guys. Get involved in the chat. Interested to see what you guys think of today's action. We'll move on to Brentford and Southampton. Brentford 3-0 against Southampton. Another brilliant win for them. They're on brilliant form right now. Actually, I think Brentford, their form. Yeah, look at that form from Brentford. I mean, beating some good teams there as well. Minus Bournemouth, of course. But why am I giving so much disrespect to Bournemouth? I'm sure none of their fans are watching. They probably have like 6 fans, let's be honest. But like, yeah, Brentford having the brilliant season once again. Thomas Frank, like I said, and once again I'll say it, I've done a video on Brentford. Go and check it out after this video. I break down Brentford and what I actually think of them in depth. So yeah, Brentford having a really good season. How long that continues for remains to be seen. Of course, Ivan Toney will be probably suspended at some point in the second half of the season. Remains to be seen how long that suspension is for. But Brentford are a brilliant team, really well balanced. Thomas Frank, a top class manager, top class coach. He has improved every single one of those players. And if you think of it, a lot of those players have come up with Brentford. It's not like they've done a Nottingham Forest on it and spent 100 million buying 30 players to improve the squad. Do you know what? We'll look at the team that played today, right? Look at the team that played today. Will it show the lineup? No. Okay, we won't look at the team that played today. You know what? We'll load up SofaScore while we're waiting. And we'll do that then. But yeah, Brentford's team. They've brought up so many of these players from the Championship with them. And Thomas Frank is just getting the absolute maximum out of these guys' abilities, like. 3-0 over Southampton. Obviously, Southampton are struggling at this moment in time. Also did a video on Southampton as well, to ramble on again. What teams haven't I done a video on at this stage? A few. But something just seems really off with Southampton right now. With Nathan Jones, fans don't seem to be behind him at all. Seems like Southampton are going downhill very fast. Whether the new signings, Kamaldeen Sulemana, Paul Onuachu, James Bree as well. can make a difference in that team remains to be seen. Mislav Orsic as well. I don't know where he is. He must be injured or something because he wasn't even in the matchday squad today. But yeah, Southampton have a good team. I think they're too young, too inexperienced, not ready for the dogfight yet. And I think the natural circle of life of the Premier League, I think, has Southampton going down this season. I think it's finally their time. Sometimes it's literally simply just that, the circle of life in the Premier League. And I think it's Southampton's time this season. They've been in the Premier League since 2012, so they've had their fair share. They've had their fair crack at the whip. They've had some good times. A Carabao Cup final. They've had some great teams. If you think of the iconic team back in the day with Graziano Pella, Sadio Mane, Morgan Schneiderlin, Nathaniel Klein, Jose Font, Victor Wanyama, Dusan Tadic. But I think it's time Southampton are finally going to get relegated, and it'll be sad because they're, a mainstay in the Premier League. They're like the likes of Crystal Palace or Leicester, or those kind of teams that have just been here for ages and just seem like they're never going to go down. But they've done well to stay in for how long they have, Southampton, given the resources they have at the top of the club. So, but yeah, they're in trouble. And as I said, they have a very good young squad, but I just think they're not ready for the dogfight. They've got too much inexperience, and it's looking like it will cost them this season. But yeah, we'll move on to Brentford, of course, and as we load up SofaScore, we will head down to the fixtures. Eventually, if it loads anyway, to have a look at Brentford's team. Oh, that's not the wrong game. SofaScore is just going to load there in a minute. The laptop hasn't been kind to me in recent times, to be fair. But yeah, we look at Brentford's lineup, right? I mean, look at that. Okay, what's happened there? What is going on? What is going on here? It's refusing to cooperate with me here. But yeah, here we go. Look at that Brentford's team, right? David Raya in goal. Came up from the Championship with them, promoted with them. Aaron Hickey was signed, of course, but that's his first real game start for Brentford in quite a while. Ethan Pinnock came up with them. Ben Mee, free transfer from Burnley. Rico Henry came up with them. Josh De Silva came up with them. Norgard, Jensen, Mbumo, Ivan Toney all came up with them. There's, 3 players in that starting 11 that didn't get promoted with them? And he's getting the best out of them, Thomas Frank. He really is. I mean, he's a top-class manager. I've said it for time now, but he's a top-class manager. And one thing I really like about Brentford, I've said it about them for so long, they really have an unbelievable balance in terms of knowing when to play the ball on the ground and when to be a little more direct and be a little bit more resolute in Route 1. And I mean, they've got perfect players for that. If you look at Christian Norgard, right, he's one of the most underrated players in the Premier League. If you look at any defensive stat, and I'm not one for stats myself, but sometimes they're useful to look at. If you look at Christian Norgard, every single defensive stat, he's top 3 minimum. Such an underrated holding midfielder, and I don't think he gets the credit he deserves whatsoever. And to be honest, I think he should be linked with some bigger clubs. No disrespect to Brentford at all. I hope he does stay there because I like Brentford. As a matter of fact, I was actually wearing this earlier. My Brentford jersey. Yeah, you're thinking, why are you a Chelsea fan of a Brentford jersey? It's because of that man in the back. I love Ivan Toney essentially, so I just got a Brentford jersey. Because I was not getting an England jersey. But just Brentford's team. David Raya, top class goalkeeper, would love him at Chelsea, even for his height. I just think his ability in terms of his distribution is very good. Brilliant shot stopper for his height. Brandon Mbumo really shone today, didn't he? I didn't watch the game, but he's getting more involved in goals now, which is obviously positive given Ivan Toney's trouble in terms of his potential suspension. Ivan Toney, I think, is one of the most, bias aside, I think he's one of the most complete strikers in the Premier League. I think he's probably third behind Kane and Haaland in terms of the fact he has everything. He's big, he's got presence, his aerial ability is brilliant, his ability on the ball in terms of his link-up play, his brain, his finishing ability, puts himself about, got that little bit of pace that's needed as well, as in he's not a complete, log up front. And I'd love him at Chelsea. I'd take it right now. I'll tell you right now, I'd love Ivan Toney at Chelsea. And I think he'd be the perfect striker to be compatible with the attackers we've signed, in terms of being almost like, I'd like to call it a rebound striker, in terms of playing with his back to goal, linking up play, but also then giving the likes of Reece James or even Malo Gusto, who's very good with his crossing as well when he comes in, or Nkunku, who can cut in his left foot, Madueke cutting in his left foot, Mudryk cutting in his right foot, Enzo pinging the ball over the top. I think Ivan Toney just would give us a load of different avenues to score goals from, and I think he would be absolutely perfect in this Chelsea team, and I would love him at Chelsea. But yeah, Brentford, man, doing really well. And the final game we'll move on to, Aston Villa versus Leicester City. Aston Villa suffering defeat under Unai Emery at home for I think the first time in his reign. They've not suffered much defeats since Emery took over. And a good evening was made a very bad evening by Brendan Rodgers and Leicester City, putting 4 goals past Villa at Villa Park. Would you believe it? Sensational scenes. I sounded a lot like Hugh Izzy there, but Hugh, please don't copyright me for that. But yeah, good win for Leicester. Unexpected win for Leicester. I think pretty much 99% of people who would have predicted that game would have said Villa would have won that. And again, didn't watch it because I was watching United Palace. But yeah, Leicester with a good win. Interesting to see how their new signings do. Harry Souther didn't get off to a good start. Obviously scored an OG. Tete, new signing, getting on the score sheet. Haven't seen the goals yet, but maybe that can be the start of him becoming a gem that Leicester have signed. And to be fair, Leicester are a bit of a weird one, because without James Maddison, I think they struggle a lot, actually, as a matter of fact. I think James Maddison has carried Leicester this season on his back, and you can see by... I actually must have a look at it later on, but I'm not sure about what the stats are in terms of Leicester's win percentage with and without Maddison in comparison, because it must be staggeringly different. Because every time Maddison gets injured, he has a knock every now and then where he's ruled out for 2 or 3 weeks, and Leicester never get a win in those 2 or 3 weeks, and then as soon as he comes back, they just hit form. He's literally the glue in that Leicester team. Makes things happen. He's an absolutely top class player. And again, I'd take him at Chelsea. Fully, I'd take him at Chelsea. And I'm starting to eat my own words, because I've said for ages that Mount was better than him, but it's clear to see that he's not, to be fair. I think Maddison has everything. Shot from long range, his vision, flair, free kicks, turn of pace, killer ball, you know. And he looks saucy, so... But yeah, no, he's a quality player, Maddison, and I think that if he stays fit, Leicester finish respectably and maybe compete for the top half. Only reason I think they might not is because of the calibre of teams up there already, like your Brentfords, your Brightons, your Fulhams, who are doing really well, Villa, who I think will have a good end to the season under Unai Emery. But if Maddison gets injured, Leicester are in trouble. I mean, I'll look at the table now. I don't know how far off relegation they are, but so it's 3 points, so it's not that close, or it's not that far off, sorry, Leicester. And look at that, Maddison comes back today, 4-2 win away at Villa Park. Very tough game against Unai Emery, who will have them set up brilliantly. Few poor results, load of poor results before that. So Maddison is the key to Leicester. He really, really is. And if he gets injured, they could be in some trouble, Leicester. I can't lie. So they need to pray that he stays fit. But yeah, tomorrow's games. Nottingham Forest versus Leeds United. 2 o'clock, Sky Sports. I will be there. I'll be watching. I just feel like that's going to be a really interesting game. I really do. Forest and Leeds. Gives a proper... Like the title suggests, proper Barclays. Nottingham Forest versus Leeds. Proper old school match, that, isn't it? And then, of course, we have Spurs, Man City. Can Man City gain a hold on Arsenal? Can they cut the gap on Arsenal to, what would it be? I think it's 3 points if they win tomorrow. 2 points even, sorry. I think it's 2 points, is it? 2 points. Although Arsenal will have a game in hand and they do play each other next week, which is going to be an absolute classic. One for the ages. But yeah, City could really pile the pressure on Arsenal with a win tomorrow over Arsenal's North London rivals, of course, Spurs, who do have a decent record against Man City. Obviously, City won the last one 4-2 there recently, a few weeks ago. Showed real character to come back from 2-0 down after letting Emerson Royale score against them. Embarrassing. But yeah, that'll be an interesting one, you know, Spurs and City. My predictions for that, there's something within me that feels Spurs will get something from that game, you know. Spurs they're just bastards for City, aren't they? They just are. I just constantly you think of Kane last season, popping up with 2 goals to win it at the Etihad. Son, on the opening day of the season, winning it 1-0 when Kane was, of course, flirting with City for the whole summer. Without Kane, they beat City 1-0 on the opening day of last season with Nuno Espirito Santo in charge. Remember that? Nuno's Spurs army. Didn't last very long. Their only real highlight in his tenure was that win. So I'm going to go with 1-1. Or 2-2, but I'm going to go with 1-1. I feel like there might be goals, but I'll go safe, I'll go 1-1. Nottingham Forest v Leeds. I think Forest win that. I'll say 3-1. I think the home advantage will definitely play on their side. And like it will all season for Nottingham Forest at the City Ground, it's common knowledge, in my opinion anyway, that newly promoted teams, when they're playing their first season in the Premier League for a number of years, every home game is like a final for them, you know. Maybe Forest suffer with second season syndrome next year, but that's next year's issue for them. This season they're high and flying, I think, and I fully believe they'll stay up comfortably. I mean, where are they in the table right now? How far off relegation are they? If you look at their 21 points, same as Leicester, 3 points off it, but they're on decent form right now. They've picked up form since. I feel like their players, all the players they've signed, have clicked now. I think Steve Cooper's found his best team. And I think, yeah, Nottingham Forest will cause some problems. I think they'll have a good second half of the season, and I think they will win. I think it'll be a good game against Leeds, because it's 2 very energetic teams who both like to play direct. I wonder will Weston McKennie start for Leeds, because if he does, then Leeds have a massive improvement on their team. I think Weston McKennie will add a lot of energy to that midfield for Leeds and quality. But I think Nottingham Forest will come out in front. I think Nottingham Forest will come out in front, on top. Got there eventually, no, well done. But I think they will win tomorrow. And yeah, we'll move up to, if they win, 13th. 1 place. Above their rivals Leicester, so I'm sure they won't complain. But yeah, Conte might not be on the bench tomorrow. Why is that? Daniel Knight says, I hope Arsenal don't win the league this season as a Chelsea fan, which are there. Don't think any Chelsea fan, or obviously Spurs fan, wants Arsenal to win the league this season. But yeah, I think that is where we will call it a night. We've been through all the games, guys. We've been through all the games. If you've enjoyed the stream, leave a like. It'd be massively, massively appreciated. Leave a like right now. Leave a like right now. If you're new, please subscribe. It'd be massively appreciated. We are closing in on 1,800 subscribers. I'm just going to change you back for a second while I look up the sub count, because I don't know what exact number we are. But yeah, leave a like on the stream, guys. If you did enjoy, it'd be massively appreciated. Excuse me. I've just done a massive burp. For those of you who are wondering, that's why I turned off the mic, because I had a burrito for my dinner. It is obviously now starting to connect with my bowels. I don't know why I'm saying that. But yeah, I'm just checking how many subscribers we're on now. So if we have a wee gander, $1,790, but we are on more because that's just rounding it off to the nearest 10 or whatever. I'm fairly sure, I'll check now, right? But I'm fairly sure, where's my phone? I'm fairly sure we're on 1,796, I think. So if you could subscribe, that would be massively appreciated. 1,700. I can't speak. 1,797 is what we are on. So I would appreciate if you could hit that subscribe button, get us over the line to 1,800. I've been looking to get this for so long. It'll be the first landmark I'll hit on my return to YouTube, because I think I came back with 1,700. But the grind doesn't stop, guys. The grind does not stop. We are aiming to get this channel back on the road. I feel like it is to a certain extent, to be fair, but we're going to be grinding out content for you guys. So yeah, subscribe for more of this. I'm going to do more streams, which I'm sure you'll be pleased about, unless you don't give a fuck, which is fair enough. But yeah, going to be doing more streams. Probably do a stream tomorrow. Do you know what? Yeah, I'll do a stream tomorrow at some point, more than likely. Don't hold me to that, because I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. But I will try my best to do a stream tomorrow night. If I don't do a stream, 100% I will do one on Monday, because it's a bank holiday in Ireland on Monday, so I'll have all the time in the world. But yeah, hopefully you did enjoy, guys. If you want, go and check out the channel. If you're new or if you're not new, uploaded a video 5 hours ago on the Everton Arsenal game. Obviously I reviewed it a little bit briefly in this video, but if you want my full reaction and full thoughts and full analysis on this game, then watch that. Everton 1, Arsenal 0. Amadou Onana is incredible, because he is incredible. Or you can watch who won the January transfer window. Or you can watch Enzo was the only positive, Chelsea 0, Fulham 0 reaction. But yeah, what January transfer window, did a whole tier list on who won the January transfer window. My live reaction to Enzo Fernandez signing, I think that's a good video, to be fair. From like, not to blow my own horn or whatever, do you know what I mean? But like, as in a good video, as in I enjoyed it and it was fun to edit and it's funny. You can't really see it on your screen there, but I will. I'll move this over for you. Yeah, that one there. So yeah, not to be giving you homework, Ratton, but you know, go over and hit that subscribe button, lads. I'm sorry to be a beg, but I just really want to hit 1,800 subscribers. And look, I know that I'll hit it if I deserve it and whatever. That's fair enough, but you know. So yeah, that is all for today's Premier League action. I think I might make this like a series every Saturday night or whatever, where we do just like proper Barclays. Proper Barclays is just, it's just proper Barclays, isn't it? What a phrase. I wish it was still the Barclays Premier League. Just the proper good vibes in it. And today was a day of proper Barclays, as we saw Wolves hammer Liverpool by 3-0, piling the pressure on Jurgen Klopp. We saw Newcastle stutter in their top 4 race against West Ham at home, where West Ham looked to be turning a corner after their poor form. Manchester United avoiding a late scare after Casemiro's red card, beating Crystal Palace by 2-1 in a narrow win in the last 15 minutes of the game. Brighton Hove Albion winning late against relegation-threatened Bournemouth to continue their good form and move themselves into 6th place in the Premier League, and 4 points, I think it is, or 3 points off top 4. Brentford continuing their good form, thrashing Southampton 3-0, pouring more misery onto Nathan Jones and his Southampton men. Aston Villa and Unai Emery having not a good evening, losing 4-2 at home to Leicester. And of course, Sean Dyche and his Brexit army beating Arsenal, the league leaders, who suffer their 2nd defeat of the season, to open the door for City tomorrow, who play Spurs at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Speaking of Spurs, Heung-min Son himself is in the stream. Hello, my friend. How's it going? And hopefully, for the sake of a Chelsea fan, you allow City to win tomorrow to stop Arsenal from winning the league. What do Spurs players do tomorrow? Because surely it's a dilemma in their heads for the ones that like know the club inside out. Like, they do know if they win, they hand initiative back to Arsenal. Where Arsenal are feeling a little bit of pressure now after that 1-0 loss today. Manchester City can win if Kim Min-jae is recruited. He's the best defender in the Serie A. Yeah, he looks like an absolute baller, Kim Min-jae, can't lie. Not sure if City need a centre back, but I take the point either way. So yeah, we've another day Proper Barclays tomorrow, but that is for tomorrow to decide. So ladies and gents, boys and girls, I thank you for your time, for joining me in this stream, for the first episode, the commencing episode, the pilot episode of Proper Barclays. And I will do another stream very soon. Leave a like on the stream, it would be massively appreciated. Leave it right now. All it takes is a click of a button and it makes my night. I'll go to bed tonight, sleep really well, because I'll know that you left a like on the video. That's how life works. And I will sleep like a fucking baby and wake up feeling like I'm in golden sheets if you subscribe to the channel and help me hit that 1,800 subscriber mark. The road to 2k is on, ladies and gentlemen. It's well and truly on. We're in the home run. Well, we're actually not yet, to be fair. We're a bit off the home run, but you know what I mean. The point still stands. And yeah, we will be doing more streams very soon, guys. Very soon. Stay tuned on the channel. Turn on notifications so you do not miss a stream. And yeah, it just helps you keep up to date with the content, even if you don't want to watch it immediately. It reminds you that I've uploaded. There's content to be enjoyed. Your dinner is sorted, because we all have that one video, that one YouTuber we need to upload in order to have the most satisfaction having a meal at dinner time. And I could be that guy for you if you really want. So yeah, food for thought. Food for thought. But yeah, lads, lasses, and everything in between, thank you very much for joining me on this humble night. As I said, as I keep alluding to, more streams to come. Go and check out the video earlier on Everton Arsenal, analysis on that. Go and check out the tier list of who won the transfer window, and all the other videos on the channel as well, to keep yourself entertained on what is a very nice night. And yeah, I will see you guys next time.